Some problems with overfishing and bycatching is it leads to a much lower number of fish in the ocean able to be caught and eaten. It destroys food sources for both sea life and people. It can destroy entire food chains because if the prey is caught and taken off, then higher levels of the food chain don't have as much food. And it can also make fisheries struggle with business. And as I've said before, it harms both sea life and people, and populations in the ocean are hunted to near extinction and others are killed unnecessarily. Some problems with fisheries themselves are poor management. They don't have strict guidelines, so they don't know when to stop catching fish, and they don't have guidelines to let them know if an area is protected or if they shouldn't be catching as much as they are. And economic pressure really feeds into this. A lot of fisheries feel economic pressure to catch more fish, and because of this, they catch too much and there's not enough left to catch or eat off of. Illegal fishing is another big factor in this, and is unregulated, poorly managed, and often ignores guidelines of protected areas. It's very harmful to actual fisheries and harmful to both marine life and humans. Um, and many types of tuna can be affected. Whole areas such as Arctic or Galapagos, coral reefs, dolphins, sea turtles, humans, whales, a lot of different species are affected by this. One healthy method of catching fish is called sustainable seafood. These are lower risk species that are able to handle low population numbers because they reproduce quicker, and it is able to be caught regularly and very good for people to eat because it can handle the hits to the population. And marine protected areas are areas of the ocean that are preserved because of wildlife or scenery. And it is used for conservation of these areas, and they are very protected. State and government won't allow fishers to harm the environment as much, and it protects fragile sea structures and food chains, and it is displaying conservation methods.
So, solutions to our problems. For mine, which was toxic waste pollution, we can conserve water, which is less water or access to runoff water. Waste will not flow into the ocean. Reduce pollutants, choose non toxic chemicals, and dispose of herbicides, pesticides, and cleaning products. Reduce waste, reduce vehicle pollution, use less energy, recycle properly, and boycott microbeads. Basically, the conserve water so we don't have as much sewage sludge, that we can help with the chemicals and the different species going into the ocean so that not only does our marine life not eat it, but we also don't eat it. The reduced pollutants, which is the non-chemicals, is also so the chemicals of the radioactives and stuff like that doesn't go into our system, as well as the marine life. The reduced waste also helps with solid waste so that the solids don't go into the ocean and then the marine life doesn't get tangled into their like into the solid waste or gets suffocated into like a bag. Reduce chemical pollution also helps just with our society with pollution. It will also slow down like big factories from making cars and stuff due to having to make vehicles. The pollution will go down. Use less energy will help the radioactive. Um, use less energy will help like slow down the radioactive waste due to not them making more electricity. Recycle properly will also help with the solid waste due to the animals not being tangled into just waste in general, and boycott microbeads. That just helps with marine life and keeping their food chain alive.
And with overfishing, heavier management onto legal fisheries can help give fishermen guidelines, and it makes sure that they know when to stop catching fish and when to stop catching certain populations. Focusing on more low-risk species or sustainable seafood means that we can catch fish and make it good for the ocean and the environment rather than just for economic purposes. Specific fishing materials. Many fishermen don't look at materials before buying them, and some materials or tools are specific to certain species, and this could greatly reduce the risk of bycatching by only buying materials that are specific for the type of fish you are catching. Protecting high-risk areas goes along with the protected marine areas, and by protecting these areas with fragile structures, environments, or food chains, we can protect the ocean from losing more species or losing more environment um, or habitats, and then supporting fisheries financially. By supporting the legal fisheries and the more heavily managed ones, we can weed out the illegal ones or badly managed ones by not allowing them to get as much support and funding. And this can just make the oceans an overall safer place and help both humans and marine life.
So, goals for the future: help the ocean become safer for marine life and human life.
And then preventing extinction and endangerment of marine life.